everyone. Today I'll be sharing a story on Mahasati Anusuya. This story reveals the end moral, which tells that how much our strong willpower and our strong, firm decision mindset would lead to changing the consequences which will be coming further. Like, the moral you'll be learning from the story is that our willpower, when we very strongly firmly make a particular decision, that is it could be in any decision in life. Sometimes we go under so much of confusion and everything, right? But this story really tells that which with a firm strong decision during a very tricky situations, and during a very tricky situation decision making times, our strong decision and our strong willpower will change the consequences unknowingly, knowingly, unknowingly, in our favor. Okay, that is the power of a human mind. That is the moral you can learn from this story. Okay, so I will start with the story now. So this story dates back to one of the Chatur Yuga, because currently we are in Vaivasvata Manvantara, in almost 28th Chaturyuga in this Manvantara. Okay, so like that, so many Chaturyuga cycles have already passed away. Now I will be talking about this story from one of the Chaturyuga. Okay, so we will go backwards towards one of the Chaturyugas, Satya Yuga. That is the first most yuga in the Chaturyuga. Okay, so in this Satya Yuga, uh, you can even some references say it can be Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga in any ways. Okay, let's start considering it as this story happened during Treta Yuga. Okay, so during Treta Yuga, there was a Maharshi whose name was Atri. Okay, so this Maharishi Atri had a wife named Anusuya. Okay, so she was a very dedicated wife to her husband. She was also called as a Mahasati. I will tell you why she is called as Mahasati Anusuya. In our Indian history, only very specific people come under that Mahasati title category. Okay, one such great female was Ma Ansuya. Okay, so this Atri Maharshi was a very popular Maharshi during that time in one of the Treta in Chaturyuga's Treta Yuga. Okay, where this particular Rishi used to perform lot of yagyas and then homa, havans, everything. Okay, and his wife was Ma Ansuya was so supportive in all of his rituals that she was such a dedicated wife. In fact, the amount of dedication and the amount of the good deeds they both as a couple had gained was in such an extent to where, like, the rituals they used to perform is like any guest used to come to their home, they used to never send them giving them an excellent service. Okay, in terms of food or taking care of guests or in any ways. Okay, they used to take an utmost care of any guest who used to come to their home. Okay, this to this Atri Maharshi and Mahansuya. Okay, they were the couple. Now, the amount of good deeds this couple had gained was in such a way where all the gods, all the divine deities like Indra Deva and all started fearing, like in such a way where the amount of good deeds they had done was in such a way where both this couple, Atri Maharshi and Mahanusuya, were in a stage of, gaining the power of Indra Padavi. That is the seat of power of the heaven. That much of good karma this couple had done. So Indra Deva started fearing on this. What if my seat of power goes to this Atri Maharshi? What will I do? The amount of good karma they are doing is too much. He started fearing this. So then what he does is he goes to Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, that see, this couple Atri Maharshi and Manasuya are doing such an excellent work, where they are doing so much of good deeds, where I am really fearing my seat of power. That much is their good karma. So what Mahadeva, Brahmadeva, Narayana thinks is okay. Let's see how much this couple, are strong in their willpower, and what is the good karma they are doing. Let us just go test uh the Trimurtis thing. So what do they do is, one day they'll just plan to give a test to Ma Anasuya and Atri Maharshi. Okay, so what they'll do is, one day they'll just wait for Atri Maharshi to go away from the home, because he can sense, he's like a he can sense that this is a divine deity and all. That much his was his, gyan, like that much intuitive powers Atri Maharshi had. So they were thinking that if we go to their home, Atri Maharshi will recognize Trimurtis. Okay, so Trimurtis will wait for Atri Maharshi to go away from his house. So once he goes away, only when Ma Anasuya is there, these Trimurtis will go to test Ma Anasuya, how much Pativrata, how much Mahasati she was. Okay, so what they do is, these Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they will go in the form of Brahmins, in the form of, asking them in seek of food, okay, to Ma Anasuya's house. So Ma Anasuya would be very happy. She will really take good care of the guests, and she'll prepare very delicious meals for them, and she'll go about to serve these food to Trimurtis. At that point of time, when she was about to serve the food, these Trimurtis will put up, who were in the form of Brahmins, they put up a condition to Manasuya. What is that condition? Is that Manasuya has to come naked, and she has to serve the food to them. You might feel this might sound a bit strange, but no, there is a twist here. I'll tell you what it is. So at this point of time, Mansuya really gets shocked. Oh God, I am a married woman, and how is this possible? How can I go about being naked and serve my guests? And they are Brahmin males and everything. How is it even possible for me to do it? She just goes calmly to her kitchen, but she can never deny the guests' conditions, because whoever comes in the form of guests to their house, this Ma Ansuya and Atri Maharshi will never send them empty handed. They will really serve all the conditions whatever the guest says, and they'll do a good service to them, and then only they would send all the guests. So this condition was a bit test for her, and Atri Maharshi was also not there at this point of time. So what she does is, she silently goes to kitchen and thinks about it, as to how can I go about serving my food to the guests like naked. How is it possible? She just starts thinking about it. Then in her heart she makes a very firm decision. Okay, why should I think in this way? Like, because except she's such a pure hearted person, like such a firm determined female, firm determined woman, that she makes a firm decision that, okay, except my husband, all the males in this world are equal to my children. So why should I, you know, think in an odd way? So I will fulfill this condition of going naked and serving food to these Brahmins. But in her heart, she will make a firm decision that except her husband, she will think the entire world males as her kids. Okay, so with this firm decision, she will remove all her clothes and she will go naked and she'll start serving the food to the Brahmins. You know what shocking thing happens? That Brahmins had turned into small kids, very small, tiny babies. Okay, and she was shocked, like, where are Brahmins and how did these Brahmins turn into small babies? And those babies, three babies, that is none other than Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, would be playing around, okay, there, in the form of small babies. So then, actually, in fact, Ma Anasuya, Atri Maharshi, did not had kids from a very long time, and they were really wishing for having kids. Okay, so when she saw those babies, she could not, like, control her motherly nature, and she, like, goes and starts breastfeeding those babies. Okay, because that was the compassionate she start feeling, like, that is, the moral from, and the moral from here you can learn is like, whatever the strong willpower and the determination she did, that except her husband, entire world males are all her kids, that actually came in reality, because Trimurtis themselves could not stand with her willpower and with her strong mindset and with her pure heart. So they themselves, from, male big Brahmins, they turned into babies. Okay, and once she breastfeeded all of them, like, they felt so happy and satisfied that they really, like, they feel really good, after she breastfeeds and everything, to them who were when they were in the form of babies. Okay, so at that point of time, when this scenario was happening, Atri Maharshi comes into the house, and she explains all the scenario to him, and he really, like, folds his hands and he bows down to Ma Anasuya. How much pure hearted, how much strong willpowered female you are. In front of you, Trimurtis themselves could not stand, and in the place of Brahmins, they turned into babies. This he also analyzed it with his Trikala Jnana. That is, he had an intuitive power. So with that also, he analyzed all the situation, and he bowed down his head to Manasuya. Then she wears and comes back to her clothes and everything. At that point of time, really Trimurtis come into their real form, and they bow down head to Ma Anasuya and they say, "Thank you so much, mother. Like, we don't have any mother above us. So, really, we felt so blessed, getting breastfeeded from you. Thank you so much." They thank Ma Anasuya. Hence, that's why Ma Anasuya is called not just Sati, but she's called as a Mahasati, because of her pure heart, pure devotion to her husband, and her strong willpower. Okay, so that is the power of the strong willpower and the strong mindset, which even Trimurtis cannot stand by it with a human willpower in a good way. Okay, so I hope this story really gives you a trigger to understand how much potential and how much strong is our mental willpower and our strong affirmation and decision making. Okay, so I hope this story really inspires you to always stay strong and a strong, always a strong mindset and a strong willpower mind, which will help you turn the bad situations into, into good situations in your favor. Okay, so I hope this story really helps you to understand in two perspectives. One is in terms of spiritual perspectives, and also in terms of the psychological perspective on the power of our mindset. Okay, So I hope this you like this story of mine. So if you like this video, do like this video, share